On this episode, we're talking about how to help your kid make friends. Friends are huge. We want our kids to be friends. We want them to have friends because, as my good friend Leslie Wyrick says, connection is protection. So we want our kids to make friends and have lots of friends. And so this is how you as a parent can help them make friends. I got 5 tips for you. First tip is secure attachment. So what that means is you want to have a secure attachment with your child. You want to be consistent. You want to be responsive. And the reason why the secure attachment is so important compared to an insecure attachment is because securely attached kids follow a path to becoming much more likely to have positive relationships, friendships with their friends. So securely attached children leads into having more friendships because they're learning those basic things. So you as the parent, we want you to be responsive and we want you to be consistent to the needs of your child. Number 2 is we want you to create opportunities for your kids to be around other kids. So whether that's inviting kids to your house, inviting kids out to roller rinks or the pool or library or kid-friendly activities, looking to see whether or not there's activities going on at your library that your kids can be around other kids. School activities, those kind of things. So create those opportunities. Invite people over. That's tip number 2. My husband would always tell me that he felt like his social abilities have been a little bit squashed because he was raised in the country. And if you're raised in the country, there's far less kids around. And so you have less opportunities because it's just a hassle to go out and make friends with other kids and be around other kids. Whereas me, I grew up in a 9-block unincorporated area of South Side of Chicago, and there was kids all around. There was the kids that I went to school with. I would be able to hop off the bus and then we'd go and hang out at the park and all of the things. So create those opportunities. Tip number 3, the most important tip. Are you ready for it? Don't be a helicopter parent. Helicopter parents are the worst for your children. Once you create those opportunities, awesome, that's great. Now step back. Do not dictate, do not structure. Allow them to have unstructured free play. Let them do what they want to do. Within reason. But we let them play with what they want to play with, how they want to play with it, whatever games they want to play. Let them play it. Free, structured, obviously, again, within your own boundaries, but let them do. Let them solve their own conflicts. Letting children solve their own conflicts teaches them conflict resolution skills. You don't need to swoop in and solve all of their problems. Stay out of it. Let them figure it out. Obviously, if there's aggression or physical kind of stuff, then go ahead and step in. But until that moment, step back. Let them play how they want to play. We had 15 kids over at a house a few months ago for our 3 kids' birthday parties, and it warmed my heart so much because they were just being kids. We were letting them be kids and play how they wanted to play. And it was like a scene from Peter Pan or Hooked, because the boys with their play swords are chasing the girls around the pond, and the boys just look like lost boys. And it was funny, and they're coming up with these new rules and all of these games, and it was just warmed my clinical child psychologist heart so much. So don't be a helicopter parent. Let them take the lead. Let them be kids. Do it. It's amazing. Step number 4, let your children be friends with who they want to be friends with. Within reason, obviously, kids, for the most part, they have great reads on what other kids are all about. You as the parent don't need to swoop in and be like, oh, no, you can't be friends with them. You have to be friends with her or him. Don't do it. Just let them take the lead. Unless they have been bullied or those kind of things, that's a whole nother video. But for the most part, let them be friends with who they want to be friends with. They'll figure it out. When I I had a friend and they were, I thought she was my best friend, and my parents were like a little, they didn't tell me that, but I figured it out. I learned in 8th grade that she was not that great of a friend. I learned it all on my own, and it's going to come a heck of a lot better from those natural consequences compared to you as the parent being like, don't be friends with that person. It's not going to work. Don't do it. Let them be friends with who they want to be with friends with, and then just give them that support, that high expectations within the context of the warm and fuzzies. That's what we're going for. That's how we're building adaptable youth. And then the 5th tip, y'all aren't going to like this. Are you ready for the tip you are not going to like? Take away the screens. It is really hard to build relationships if you have a screen in front of your face. Did you feel very connected to me at that moment? Of course you didn't, because you couldn't see my face. You couldn't read my social cues and all of my facials that you all love. You got to get rid of the screens. Video games, get rid of that. Not all of the time, but when we're creating these great opportunities, do not ruin those opportunities with screens. Video games, tablets, movies, TVs, those kind of things, get rid of them. Let them build relationships. Believe me, during much later in their teenage years, they will have all the time for all the screens, but remove the screens as much as you can. And by doing these 5 things, you can teach your children how to make friends and have solid relationships. And that is connection, is protection. And by having great relationships and friendships, we are going to be throat punching this youth mental health crisis. Let's go.